Live from Boulder, Colorado, you are watching the Kyle Malnati Show. I am broadcasting from RE/MAX of Boulder with my friend Duane Duggan.
Hey Kyle, thanks for having me here today.
Of course.
Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for being back on the show. It's been a year now since you were on our show talking about multifamily investing. Duane's a realtor, and Duane is so excited to announce the launch of his book, Realtor for Life. So Duane, why did you decide to write a book?
One of the things that I've seen about the industry in general is because of the internet, realtors tend to get leads off the internet, they sell them a house and they forget about them and then work on the next internet lead. So part of the theme of Realtor for Life is once you become a realtor, you do subscribe to a code of ethics, you essentially make a promise to the world to take care of your people. And so this book is something where I'm trying to teach realtors who have subscribed to that code of ethics and such to help their clients from maybe their first time home to investment property in between, all the way to estate planning at the end. So it's literally realtor for their entire life.
Which you've been a realtor for your entire life, and briefly just go through your quick history on being a real estate agent here in Colorado.
I went to the University of Colorado, got a degree in real estate, which is actually fairly rare, and now I've been at it almost 38 years. So literally my whole business life has been in real estate and being a realtor.
Great. And I think what's important for folks to know is Duane is a mentor of mine, not only as a real estate agent, he's actually a real estate owner. One of the chapters in the book, and one of the key points is that a lot of real estate agents don't invest in real estate, which seems silly because we have access to it every single day.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've been one of my clients as you own multifamily property, but talk about some of the percentages that are out there on the amount of people in the real estate industry that actually own real estate as rentals. It's kind of surprising.
It is. I kind of equate it like to a stockbroker that doesn't own stock. Like you ask a stockbroker, is stock good to invest in? They go, of course. And when you look at real estate people in general, it's about 30% don't own more than just their single family home and one rental.
Wow.
Most of them just stick to their home and that's it. So it's pretty rare. So what I'm finding is that the typical agent doesn't even invest in what they do, which that's one of the things I'm about to change with this book.
Good.
So.
Well, and on the book, you go through some step-by-step processes. You had told me about maybe 10 tips specifically within the book that are going to be critical for an existing real estate agent that's maybe hitting the sunset of their career, an aspiring real estate agent that maybe wants to make that next level move,
Sure.
or someone who's in college or in high school that's always been enamored. They love to watch HGTV and love to see what real estate agents are doing and want to be a part of our tribe of realtors.
Well, it's just like any other investment. The younger you are when you start it, the easier it is at the other end. So again, this is Realtor for Life, somebody going from their first time home, maybe buying one or two single families, trading those just like what we did.
Yes.
Trading single families for multifamilies, and then eventually maybe exchanging those for tenant income type properties. So teaching them every step of the way, and then maybe helping them with the estate planning situations at the end and all the options that you have at that point.
The thing that I think is interesting is we've got the ability to buy this book pretty quick here.
Right.
And I think that it's important to share with folks. We've got a launch date in January, currently slated for January 15th, which is a Friday. How do people buy the book if they want to buy it on January 15th?
It's going to be available on Amazon on January 15th. So just like you would order any other book on Amazon.
And for a lot of us real estate agents, man, if we had a second to read a book, that would be a second worth making another phone call to a client. What if someone wants to digest the book electronically or even through audio?
We're planning on having it available through Kindle and also audio.
Okay, great. So people can get it if they're e-readers. You can get it on Kindle. You can get the book like we see right here. You can also get it, like you said, on audio, which would be great. I think it's always really important to share why people are doing things. And I really believe in intentionality and living a purpose-driven lifestyle. And that's surrounded by this question of why. Why did you write this book?
Last year, I subscribed to the theory that you pick a word to live by for the year.
Okay.
And so my word last year was significance. And how I came up with that word last year is again, being in the real estate business 38 years, you start to think about retiring. And so the word significance gave me the desire to produce something so that as I exit my career of the day-to-day sales, that I do leave some sort of significance for the other realtors that will remain in the business, and to a business that has given me so much. And so my new word for 2016, I still have significance in the back of my mind, but the new word is opportunity. And just sitting here with you, Kyle, is an opportunity that came up just because of this book. And
right.
It's amazing how many other opportunities that I think this book will enable people to learn about, things that they can do to have an opportunity for success that maybe they didn't think of otherwise. Because when you look at this book, there's 32 different ways that somebody can incorporate becoming a client's realtors for life. If you don't know those 32 ways of helping a client throughout their life, you're not going to be that.
You're in trouble if you don't have it. I mean, this is that call to action right now, that if you don't know the things that are in this book and you're practicing real estate sales, you might be doing that and all of a sudden wake up 25 years later and you feel like you've strung 25 individual years together as a career. And what you're talking about is weaving in the fabric of your career so that you've got clients that you start with and in some cases end with. And
well, we have a little joke in my office because Timmy, my son, is working with me.
Yes.
He's 33. Most of his clients are buyers and younger. Mm-hmm. And then Tammy is right at the midlife point of view. And so she works with a lot of move-up buyers. And I look at my business last year, it's been a lot of people going into assisted living or dying just because of the vintage that I have become. So it is truly just within my own team, I can see how we're people's realtor for life. But again, most realtors, if you ask them, what do you do for somebody, you say, well, I'd sell them a home. And that's just one idea within this book out of 32 of ways you can help them throughout their life and their real estate needs.
Right. The thing when we were prepping for this show that I really enjoyed hearing is you spoke about Timmy, your son, who's an Olympian. Right. Had an amazing career as a cyclist and has now decided, okay, cycling is over with, at least competitive wise, and now I'm going to go into real estate. And then you've also got some friends that we know here in Colorado that are older and have been in the real estate industry and are captains of our industry for quite some time. And this book speaks to both of those people.
It does, and thanks for mentioning that, Kyle. You know, for Timmy being first year in the business, he had an incredible year, but this is like for the new person, this is like a manual of teaching them all the things you can do for your clients that even as a realtor you may not know. And then one of the testimonials in here was from Tupper Briggs, who's been a high-powered real estate
huge producer in Evergreen,
RE/MAX forever. He actually wrote a testimonial about how this book gave him 32 different ideas for mailings to keep in touch with his clients.
Clever.
So what that did, and really it did put warmth in my heart, is that it shows that this book is for the first-time agent and the seasoned agent, because even the seasoned agent hasn't thought of a lot of things that are mentioned in this book. And quite frankly, the book got written because I've done everything that is mentioned in this book from personal experience.
Well, and think about it. We all get entrenched. Whatever phase of life we're in, you kind of groove into things and you become familiar with a certain level of success, or you feel like you've got a certain recipe for what you do.
Right.
And being able to have Uncle Duane here as that outside perspective, and in the case of Timmy, Father Duane, you know, to be able to say, hey, look, things may be transacted slightly differently in 2016, but over the last 38 years of my career, I've learned some things that are fundamental truths that aren't changing. Because no matter what, you still need a buyer and you still need a seller, and you still need a piece of property in between the two. And so those things have never changed. We've just got amplifiers now of the internet, social media, some things that we can do to push those messages out into the marketplace more efficiently than the old school classifieds or taking different ads on bus benches and things of that sort. You can do some things, I think, as a startup real estate agent, as a first-time realtor, that can fast-track your success, but also having the experience, almost 40 years worth of experience behind that, is going to be able to help people work through some struggle points pretty easily.
One of the most rewarding part of my career is now that I have been around for 38 years selling homes, that I do have a lot of clients that started with nothing and now have huge empires that they're retired on, and that personally is very, very rewarding to me. When I look at the book, it's in its simplest form. You start working with a first-time buyer, they buy a home, and then you try to help them buy their first investment property. So how do you do that? How do they save for it? Are there mortgage acceleration techniques that they can use to build equity? And it talks about ideas like oftentimes a first-time investment buyer, they look at maybe a 20 or 25% down payment. It's just overwhelming. So like an example is somebody that maybe doesn't have kids yet, they're a couple, they're in their first home, and then after they're there a year, they buy their next home, but they owner occupied and actually move to their next one and rent the old one, and then they can get in with the low down payment on the next one rather than trying to save up the 20% down to get into the next one.
That's right. So
a lot of ideas on that, and then once you get somebody started on that real estate investment program, then you teach them things like 1031 exchanges so they can build their properties without paying taxes on it. Teach them how they can buy real estate within their IRAs and just keep growing and growing. And then like with you and I, Kyle, as you know, you sold one of my 25 unit buildings, and then we traded that into a tenant in common investment.
Right.
So,
and thank you for that business.
It goes as you age in life. It got to the point where we didn't really want to deal with the 25 unit anymore, and now you traded into a tenant in common investment,
which is less maintenance, less management.
Exactly.
You don't have the energy to bootstrap some of the stuff, and you don't want to necessarily have to navigate 25 different leases.
Right.
And so you're going through different phases of life, and as a realtor you should be able to interact with your client on every step of that journey.
And at 38 years in the business, I've been through all those phases, from the first time home to building the empire to deciding how to downsize it, and now to estate planning. So
that
legacy
legacy
start kicking
piece,
around those ideas. Exactly. So everything in here comes from personal experience that I hope to share with others so they don't maybe make a lot of the same mistakes I did, because you definitely learn from the school of hard knocks.
Absolutely. So if there's a parting thought, Duane, that you have that is a reminder for folks why they should buy this book, what's the one thing that you would hope to speak to? If you can look eye to eye to your reader and say, this is my hope for you in the book, what is that?
I really do hope that I give significance back to all the realtors that might read this book, so that they in turn can be significant in their clients' lives and be their clients' realtor for life. And
be the go-to. I mean, to be that trusted advisor, that we're not just peddlers, which is an old school, early 1900s, late 1800s term, that real estate agents were basically looked at as door-to-door salesmen, and to be that advocate, which is so important.
The trusted advisor part is so true, because there's a lot of things in here that are that you call upon other experts. In other words, we're not estate planners, but we know estate planning attorneys, and we've seen, like at this point in my life, I've seen what a lot of people have done relative to their estate and real estate, and so I can push them in the right direction to get that expert help. Like I don't sell tenant in common investments, because that's like a security. So, but you can push people if they're ready for that type of thing in their life, which direction to send them.
Well, this has been a lot of fun spending some time together. I think we should review a couple of quick things. The book is available January 2016. On the 15th is what the planned launch date is. Our goal is to get as many of these books sold so that people can really fast track their careers and benefit. Again, we're talking about Realtor for Life, written by Duane Duggan. We are broadcasting here from RE/MAX of Boulder, in Boulder, Colorado. It's a beautiful day today. And Duane, I just want to say thanks. Thank you for being a realtor that I've been able to trust and learn some information, but a good friend and a worthy mentor. And I would say anybody that's reading this book can know that you have volumes of information that you just simply can't fit into a book like this, but you're able to condense it, and you're able to help someone fast track their career. So,
and the word realtor means one heck of a lot to me, because it takes the typical agent that maybe is trying to operate without being a realtor. This is the type of things that I think if they know it, it puts a much better perspective of the public's view of what it means to be a realtor by learning a lot of these skills and using somebody that has made the commitment to the Realtor Code of Ethics.
Absolutely. Well, everybody that's watched the Kyle Malnati Show knows that I believe that readers are leaders. So here's your call to action. Read Realtor for Life. I have my pre-release copy here, my proofed copy. Duane has signed it for me. And I want everybody to know it says, you're my favorite commercial realtor. So my competitors out there, you know where Duane stands. And then also, everybody that watches the show knows that this is the show where multifamily matters. Multifamily investing is where I sit in the real estate journey for folks, and that's helping people buy and sell apartment buildings. And we just want to help any way that we can, educate the watcher. And so thanks so much for spending the time to watch the show. We hope you order and enjoy the book. And until next time, we will see you around the neighborhood. Thanks, Duane.
Thanks, Kyle.